Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Stranger Things Recap Marathon. Last time we left off with the group splitting up and Nancy still being trapped in the Upside Down. Let's find out what happens in episode 6, The Monster. Nancy is still trapped with the monster, but is able to hear Jonathan in the right side up through force magic or something. Nancy follows his voice and gets birthed out of a tree, traumatizing the edgy teenagers. Steve heads to Nancy's house because he's totally worried about her and doesn't want to have sex. Sadly, Jonathan beats him to it, and now Steve is sad Harrington. Hopper and Joyce are still debriefing about what Hopper saw at the lab until Hopper starts putting the pieces together. They've come to the conclusion that all of Hopper's clues have been leading him to a different kid that's not Will. They believe it could be the daughter of Terry Ives, a woman who was used as a subject during the MK Ultra experiments at Hawkins' lab, before they tossed her and kept her daughter. Hopper and Joyce go off to play detective while Nancy and Jonathan sleep together, but unlike Steve, it's totally platonic, mainly because Nancy is scared of the dark and Jonathan has never touched the woman. Nancy stayed up all night because Jonathan is an awful cuddler and she can't stop thinking about Barb. They vow to find both his brother and her friend, and they realize the monster might be attracted to blood. The government goes to the kids' schools and gets the boys' names, as Dustin crashes out at Mike for being an incel. Mike is already beating himself up for the fight, but can't bring himself together and apologize to Lucas. Dustin says Mike has to apologize first because he drew first blood, and Mike says Dustin is his best friend, which makes him blush. Lucas won't accept Mike's apology unless they forget about Eleven and go straight to Will, but Mike loves his girlfriend too much and they leave. Eleven lets her inner thug out and robs a store for Eggos. Hopper and Joyce find Terry Ives, but she's kind of like Helen Keller, except she can see. Terry's sister believes that her daughter died in miscarriage, but Terry still thinks that she's alive. Terry says her daughter was born with abilities, and that's why the government stole her. Jonathan and Nancy buy hunting supplies, but Nancy smells betrayal in the air. She sees that she's starring in a movie as the slut, but that's a pretty lame role. She finds Steve to ask him about how he got her the part, but Steve thinks she's cheating on him with Jonathan, which, look at him, who wants that? Apparently Nancy does, and she slaps the sense out of Steve, which gets him so upset that he becomes homophobic and starts making fun of Jonathan's gay dead brother. Jonathan doesn't take disrespect like that and kicks Steve's ass, which gets the cops involved and he goes to jail. Mike and Dustin are looking for Eleven in the woods, but instead they find a Stephen King trope and get chased by the Pee-Pee Boy bullies. They hold Dustin hostage and tell Mike he needs to jump off the cliff before they give him new teeth. Mike does the worst Assassin's Creed jump in order to save his friend, but what's this? Terrible CGI floating. Oh my goodness, it's Eleven, and she's here to save the day. She snaps the bully's arm and makes them run away. The kids have a group hug and Mike makes up with Eleven. They head back home as government agents head to Mike's house in search of Eleven. And that's where episode 6 ends. Will Mike and Lucas make up? While Hopper and Joyce find their missing kid? Will Jonathan and Nancy just make out? Find out tomorrow on the Stranger Things Recap Marathon.